Well, it is so good to have you with us here as we get another episode of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie underway here on EWTN Radio. I am Jerry Usher along with Debbie Giorgiani, the show team in place, and as we always say, it is your show, so we're going to look forward to another impactful conversation today, Debbie, and I think it's a very important topic that many people should be able to relate to.
Especially since November is National Adoption Month. And so in order to close out this wonderful month, always focusing on adoption stories, we wanted to hear yours. Could you please call in and share your journey? We want to learn and grow together, and that's what Take Two is all about, and we always do. We always look at the good, the bad, and the ugly, everything, all angles, right? Why? Because it's important. So if you have a really interesting adoption story during this November of National Adoption Month, please, now is the time to call in. 833-288-3986.
There are many reasons why parents adopt children. Sometimes infertility is an issue. And how many stories have we heard, Debbie, of people who were having difficulty conceiving and decided to adopt and then all of a sudden became pregnant, and the Lord gave them that beautiful gift. So if you have adopted a child or children, if you were adopted by loving parents, love to hear that story right now. People listening are going to be blessed by what you have to share. I can assure you of that. 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986.
We really would appreciate if you would think about sharing your story. If you wanted to remove, some names, or you don't want to, get into any details, that's totally fine. I mean, this is what Take Two is all about. But we would love to hear your very precious adoption stories. And here is the number again. Please fill up the rest of those phone lines: 833-288-3986. And I believe there's a few. I think there's still a few affiliates around the country that are having their share-a-thons this week. So please give generously. If your local Catholic radio station comes to you, they're having this is the fall fund drives and different appeals, and they need the funds to get into spring of 2023, Jerry. So, if you're listening to Take Two, but you know that your share-a-thon in your local area is happening, please give generously.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's Giving Tuesday, so keep that in mind. EWTN can always use your prayerful financial support.
Yes.
You can just go to EWTN.com/donate and make your donation there. And, or, as Debbie said, give to your local radio station or another ministry that you feel strongly about and want to support. But here on the program today, we would love to have your contribution, your participation. Lines are about half full right now, so you still got a couple lines. You can grab one of those right there at 833-288-3986 with your story of having adopted children or having been adopted and how that all went. There's so many issues, Debbie, that kind of touch upon this topic today. Open adoptions, closed adoptions. Did you ever meet your biological parents? What were your reasons for adopting? We all know that the show on after us, Dr. Ray Garendi, he and his wife Randy, all 10 of their kids were adopted, so they know a thing or two about that. So looking forward to this. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what the people have to say about this today.
I totally agree. And you don't have to be Catholic to call in. Please, if you're listening to the show, we consider you part of the family. The number to dial again is 833-288-3986. My mom's older sister, she adopted 2 kids. So my first cousins, and they were my only first cousins on my mom's side, because remember, my mom's brother was a priest and her sister is a nun, and her other brother had epilepsy and never got married. So my mom had kids, and my aunt adopted 2 wonderful kids, and it's amazing. It's fabulous because they always say you expand the heart, you expand the love as more people come into the family, and I so agree with that. What do you think of that concept?
Absolutely. I mean, what a gift it is to a boy or a girl to be adopted at really any age as a child, but maybe especially if they find themselves in a foster home or having a difficult time being placed in a home, to adopt them. And I recently, it was shared with me by a lady at church, Debbie. I don't know if the name Aaron Judge is familiar to you. He is a New York Yankees baseball player and set like a home run record this year. He was adopted, actually, and I think his biological mother, if I have the details right, and maybe I don't have them all correct, but I think his biological mother, might have been pressured to have an abortion, and now he's not only adopted and one of the best Major League Baseball players in the world, but very strong, devout Christian, and has given his life to the Lord. So. Wow. Stories like that emerge, people, you make such an enormous difference in the life of a boy or girl if you take them into your home and adopt them.
Oh, I completely agree. Sometimes I wish, you and I would get adopted by some of the Take Two family. We have virtually, but I mean, some of the stories we hear, I wish I was part of their families. They're so cool. You hear the stories about these big family gatherings and, lots of food. And it's really beautiful when you see family come together. That's a wonderful thing. It's very precious. Not everybody has that, experience with family. So one more open phone line. That's it. We're going to hear some really cool adoption stories. Here's the number, 833-288-3986. And Jerry, can I just say this real quickly? This has nothing to do with the topic today. I shared with you and Ace before we came on air that I had a little stumble last night and I lost my footing and I hit the back of my head and I had a hair clip in and it went right into my head. So I have a headache and it's been that way for a long time. I never realized how dangerous those hair clips can be. I'm telling you, they're really tough. They make them, they're very sturdy, that's for sure.
A new kind of weapon.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I know. So be careful, folks, if you wear those hair clips. Okay.
All right, well, you can join us by phone, 833-288-3986. You can email your adoption story, although, email, we get a lot of emails during the show. It'd probably be hard for you to condense it down to where we could preview it and get it on the program, but give it a try if you want to keep it kind of succinct at take2@EWTN.com. You can post on the show website, take2show.com, and if you're among the many watching the video streams on Facebook and YouTube, hi to you guys. You can post your comments there. Jeff Burson is the manager of social media, so he'll get some of those over to us. Ace McKay is on the board running the controls. He is our producer. Matt Grabensky is the one you talk to first when you call in at 833-288-3986. We're going to get started with your adoption stories here. It's National Adoption Month, about to come to a close, so we wanted to kind of finish the month on a strong note talking about the topic of adoption.
This is Michael Drollman, Communications Director for Cor Christi Broadcasting in Central Washington State. We rely on Catholic radio to send a gospel message to listeners in our area. We know people who have come into the church after listening to the excellent apologetics programming we provide. Catholic radio, a great tool for evangelization.
The world needs EWTN Catholic Radio, now more than ever.
Hello, this is Janet Morana of Priests for Life with Pro-Life Update. The Lord gave us the Our Father as the model of all prayer. The first two words of that prayer tell us why we are pro-life. There is one Father of us all, the one who gives both divine life and the natural human life. The Father is the Creator, and if He is our Father, then what does that make us? We are all brothers and sisters in one human family. One Father entrusts us to the care of each other. We are to seek the good of one another. This is why Paul exhorts us to rejoice with those who rejoice and to weep with those who weep and to bear one another's burdens. The first way we do that is to safeguard the most basic good each person has, life itself. This is Janet Morana on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
We're talking adoption stories here today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. We always say that because you are the important person. So we need to hear from you. Still one open phone line, 833-288-3986. And we'll get to Annette in just a moment because she's a first-time caller, so we definitely want to get to Annette. But let me just share with our listeners, EWTN Vatican Bureau, From Rome to Your Home, with news from EWTN's Vatican Bureau. You can watch all of the important events from Rome, even if you don't have TV access. Using the latest technology, we've made it possible to watch the latest news from the Holy See, all delivered directly to your home via live streams. Watch live on EWTN, YouTube, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So that is really cool. You can get all the news, and that's fabulous. Thank you, EWTN. We love EWTN for that. I always feel connected to Italy because of EWTN. Always do.
Absolutely. It's important to know what's going on in the universal church just as much as it is in the local churches where we live. So, okay, 833-288-3986. It's National Adoption Month, about to come to an end. We wanted to make sure and cover this topic before it does. And we're going to hear first from Annette, as Debbie promised, first-time caller in Marietta, Georgia, listening on The Quest. Hi, Annette.
Hi, how are you?
Doing okay. How about you today?
Fine, thank you. I was just so glad to have walked into the room and heard this program, and I immediately thought I would call and tell my story.
Yeah, please do.
Well, in 1973, I conceived a love baby, and my aunt came down from North Georgia offering furniture to me if I would put my baby up for adoption at a very good orphanage here in Georgia. And I said, no, thank you. I didn't want the furniture, and I wanted to keep my baby and raise my baby. So I did. But parallel to me at the time was a friend who was also pregnant, but because she was a lab technician at a big hospital here, she knew that there was something wrong with her baby before it was born. But she decided also not to have an abortion, and her baby, sadly, was born just a vegetable with very, very little intellect and had to be institutionalized, whereas my daughter was born and became a wonderful artist. So, I had that choice in 73, and my friend also did, and but I'm glad that there are places where people can put their babies up for adoption. I chose not to, and I'm, glad that I made that decision. So that's my story, and I'm just glad I had a chance to share it.
Well, thank you, Annette, for doing so, and God bless you, and of course your friend. Both of you decided to give your babies, the opportunity to live. It's unfortunate. I'm so sorry to hear about what her child has experienced, but God bless you. It has to be, in some cases, like you said, it was a love baby. So the pressure maybe to feel like you should possibly abort the child has to be pretty intense. I know a lot of women go through that and not really, with all of their senses, not really in their right mind and so forth. But look, you did the right thing. You did the right thing, and your child has turned out to be, it sounds like, very successful. So praise God for that.
Mm-hmm. Annette, thank you for being a first-time caller and sharing. And, I think one of the reasons we wanted to really highlight this show, especially with it being November being National Adoption Month, we really wanted more folks, to step up and support these wonderful organizations that are out there, gifting these beautiful babies to loving homes. And the more we talk about it, I think it really helps people to, it kind of touches their heart and their soul. And so that maybe they'll also support those places and encourage those places. So it helps all the way around. What do you think, Annette?
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't agree more. For me, it wasn't an option, but I am thankful that there is a wonderful place here in Georgia. But I found that in Georgia here we have so many children that need to be adopted. I heard the statistics recently, and they're just outrageous that there's so few people who even do fostering.
Oh, interesting. Okay. In Georgia? It's just in your state?
Yes, in our state here. Mm-hmm. And so, it's to the point where I've been thinking about it myself to see what steps have to be gone through to do such a thing, even fostering.
Right. Oh, I totally agree with you. My husband and I prayed about it for a couple years of becoming foster parents, and unfortunately, I had other commitments and responsibilities with my mom aging and then eventually passing, and so I couldn't kind of do both. I couldn't commit to that because of the other, taking care of a elderly mother or father is it's a full-time job, as many people know. But I'll tell you, there's a beautiful heart when you talk to foster parents. Every foster parent that we spoke to when we were discerning, boy, they would give you anything, and they listened, and they were just the love just poured out of foster parents. I think it's a really wonderful ministry and vocation.
True. And I think, too, that this would be a wonderful way for a family to receive love, from the children. So
Right.
I don't want to take too much time, but I'm so thankful for your program, and I'm going to begin to, listen more every day. So thank you so much for taking my call.
You're welcome, Annette. Thank you so much. Debbie, in a sense, you and Marty did kind of adopt your mother because, as you know, when you're taking care of an elderly person, your mother had some health issues and so forth. It really is almost equivalent to having a child, in a very real sense.
Oh, absolutely. Well, my mom, she always had a great sense of humor. She used to joke about that all the time because we said to her, Mom, we might have foster kids. And she goes, you have me. We said, okay.
There you go.
So you were right. Yeah. Well, you knew Connie so well. So, And she always said, you're a nice fella.
Yeah. That nice fella.
Always said that about Jerry Usher. Okay. So, another first time caller, Jerry. This is amazing.
Jeannie is in California. Hi, Jeannie, listening on the EWTN app. Welcome to the program, Jeannie.
Hi, Jeannie.
Yes. Hi, Debbie and Jerry. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yes, I just wanted to share that we adopted one of our children at 2 weeks old. It's been over 35 years ago. The birth mom whom we met wanted a Catholic family. That was very important to her. And our daughter had many challenges and DNA issues because of the drug use by the birth mother. But I'm not saying this was easy with all the tutoring, counseling, doctor issues. But we're still glad we were able to take the leap and adopt. What I was going to say is she got to meet her biological family when she got older. And the drug use and welfare system was just a part of their whole life. Mm-hmm. And so she's always been very, very grateful to us that we acted, through God's grace. Mm-hmm. And sorry.
It's okay.
So we're very glad that we were God's instrument through all this. That's all I wanted to say. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
No, you're yeah, but you see what we were just saying, Jeannie. Did you hear us talking about how the beautiful hearts of those that adopt and those that foster children? I mean, and your heart just showed right there. It was so evident to us. So your love, I mean, like you said, it came with challenges, but you guys did a beautiful, loving thing, and that's a Christ act and action, I should say. And I think it's going to. I believe, this is my personal opinion, Jeannie, not that anybody cares, but I'll share it with you, okay, is that the blessings are going to flow for here and for all of eternity for you and your family, because what you did was a Christ-like act, and I think that is incredible. So way to go.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie and Jerry. God bless you, too, in your ministry. It's beautiful. I love it.
Oh, thank you. You're very kind. We appreciate you being a first-time caller. Hope that you will call again. Yeah, I mean, we know all the things that Jesus said about the little children in Scripture, Debbie, and you're definitely right on point when you said it is a Christ-like action to take in a child, especially, as she said, there were drug issues with the biological mother. And
that's right.
Those can be even more challenging, but also I would guess in the end more rewarding as well.
Well, it's definitely soul rewarding, right? It's definitely going to benefit the soul. And we do know, okay, Jerry and I know that the Take Two family, definitely you guys care about us and what we have to say. So we love the Take Two family. Okay, Susan, are we gonna hit the pause button soon? Because I didn't see a time thing. I just want to make sure.
In a couple of minutes, but
okay, so we have time for Susan?
Sure.
Okay, because my screen is a little bit off today. Okay, so Susan, real quickly, let me give you the phone number. We do have a couple open phone lines. We'd like to hear more adoption stories, 833-288-3986. Susan in Colorado on the EWTN app. Hello, Susan. Welcome.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. First time caller.
Beautiful. 3 in a row.
Yeah. So, our story, we have actually 3 beautiful children adopted internationally. And our first one that we adopted internationally, although we have 2 biological children right now also, was from China. And my husband and I had talked about, even before we got married, the possibility of adoption. And then when some infertility came up, we saw a talk that was advertised on adopting from China, and we were also pro-life, so we kind of knew a little bit about the one-child policy. And so it was a long process, a little bit of money. If you wanted to, a new car, it was like a new car versus a baby from China. But anyways, our daughter turns out, was abandoned at a train station in China. And what happens there is they know any of the family or relative child would go back. So she was pretty much abandoned with nothing. And she went to an orphanage. They had to ascertain, medically, like looking at her, how old she was. And so she was about 2 weeks old. They gave her the birthday of 9/29, and that is the feast of the Archangel. So we never let her forget that. And,
wow.
Sorry. So she's 23 now. So she came to us when she was 10 months old, and it's just beautiful. She's been very thankful to us, and we're very thankful too.
Yes, of course.
It's been a real blessing. So.
Yeah. You're somebody else, Susan, as we've been talking on the show today. We love your heart. And, God looked upon you and your husband and gave you these beautiful opportunities. And, especially this daughter from China. I'm sure the other ones are very grateful too. But, like you said, they have the one-child policy, and who knows what might have happened there. I mean, I can't imagine somebody, just abandoning a child at a train station like that. But that's the pressure that I guess they feel that they're under sometimes. But you've got a beautiful family here now, and I'm sure they're all very, very grateful to you. And like you said, you're grateful as well. That gratitude in your heart. You've done an unselfish thing, but then you are the one who just feels that gratitude pouring forth from your heart. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it goes back and forth. And Susan, I'm getting very emotional with you. And I'm sure our listeners are as well, because the Take Two family has big hearts. I love the Take Two family. But again, just to echo what Jerry said, we can feel your heart and your intention for your children. And I just believe the good Lord delights in that and smiles. So blessings to you and your beautiful family during this Advent season.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you for your show. Thank you for all you guys do.
Oh, thank you, Susan, for being part of the family. We appreciate that so much. It is National Adoption Month in November, and we are closing out the month. Actually, tomorrow is our unscripted show. We have that usually on the last day of the month. But we wanted to cover this topic of adoption because it is such a beautiful reality. And so we're asking, if you have your own adoption story, perhaps you were adopted, maybe you've taken in children, maybe you are a mother who gave a child over to a loving family for whatever reason. Maybe you weren't in a position to raise a child at the time. We would love to hear from you with your story. Here's the number. It's 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. 3986.
And maybe you're part of a religious community who was used to place these wonderful children in homes. Could you maybe share from that perspective? Because I know that a lot of sisters raised a lot of, started to raise the children, and they got very attached to the children. And then it was time to place them in a home. And that can always be an adjustment. And you can tell us those stories. How about stories that, you were adopted, you grew up adopted, and then you decided one day to see if you had any, siblings or something. We want to hear those stories. It's fascinating, folks. Our stories are really, they can all be books, bestsellers. They can all be bestsellers if we really explored it. And that's what we try to do in this brief hour together on Take Two. So please join us, 833-288-3986.
Yeah, we're going to get to more of your calls momentarily here. So those of you on the line, please be patient. We've got Evelyn in Ohio, Tom in Florida, another Thomas in New York, and a couple of phone lines open here. So it's not always the case. We're grateful to you, the Take Two family, that we have great participation every day. It's been great so far today. It's your show. And we have two lines available there. We're going to get to all of you on the line, God willing, here in the latter portion of the program. The number again is 833-288-3986. Can't wait to hear more of your adoption stories.
Jesus said to love others as we love ourselves. He was assuming that we love ourselves. He wants us to believe that we're actually lovable. So what stops you from believing that about you? Scripture calls the devil the father of lies, and lies about who we are tend to slip into our lives in a million different ways. Bullying tells us you're weak. Molestation tells us you're worthless. Verbal abuse tells us you're unlovable. The self-abusive sin tells us you are no better than your worst mistake. All lies from the father of lies. Jesus said, I am the truth. He also said the truth will set you free. So what's the truth about you? The truth is, we have a Savior and God who thinks that you are worth dying for. When you hear those false identities whispered in your ear, replace them with your real identity, loved. This is Chris Stefanik from reallifecatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
Are you familiar with StandTallToday.com? It's designed to help you on the journey of life through our incredible fellowship club with over 300 members. We hold Zoom presentations, individual group and crisis coaching, and exclusive interviews, offering you hope, love, peace, and joy, and being a beacon of light to the world. Log on to StandTallToday.com for a free coaching consultation. That's StandTallToday.com.
This is Father Joseph inviting you to sign up to receive weekly emails with my Advent reflections, plus a beautiful free ebook including all of the reflections. To get started, visit EWTN.com/Advent.
Hi, this is Janet Williams. You don't have to be a woman to enjoy Women of Grace tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern here on EWTN Radio. Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
And we're spending this day on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you, talking about the beautiful gift that adoption is from all different angles and perspectives. 833-288-3986. We're going to go right back to the calls. But first, I want to say hello and blessings to some longtime members of the EWTN radio family. Our friends at Our Lady of Victory Radio in Lubbock, Texas are celebrating their 8th year with us. So congratulations to Jonathan Metzger and his team at Our Lady of Victory Radio from your friends at EWTN.
I have to tell you, that's my favorite title, Our Lady of Victory. I love that.
It is.
Okay,
awesome.
Yeah, and congratulations, you guys. That's awesome. Okay, we're going to go to Evelyn, and Evelyn is in Archbald, Ohio, on our friends at Annunciation Radio. Hello, Evelyn. Welcome.
Hello, Jerry and Debbie. I just want to tell you I love your program. I love Annunciation Radio. It's what I'm listening on. And I have a story that about 25 years ago, our son and his wife went to Russia, adopted 2 little boys from an orphanage in Russia, and we have been so blessed. The boys are now both married. One has a little boy that looks just like him with the beautiful blonde, silky hair. The other couple are expecting real soon. And I just want to let you know that our family have been so blessed. The cousins all love them. And family pictures are just, it's just so great. And it is a big step forward, to do that. But it's sure it brings a lot of wonderful blessings to your family.
It sounds like it. Yeah, Evelyn, what a beautiful testimony here. And yeah, a lot of people, I used to work when I was at Catholic Answers many years ago. The producer of our show, she and her husband also adopted a baby from Russia, just a fantastic gift to them. And she's probably now in her 20s. But now to hear the story, you're getting, grandchildren out of this situation, and the blessings, like you said, probably just keep on coming. You probably wouldn't be able to count. You probably lost track if you tried to count them over the years. Beautiful, beautiful story.
Yeah, and you can hear in your voice, Evelyn, how proud in a beautiful, good, holy way you are of your family. That's incredible. I love that, because there's a lot of parents and grandparents. Sometimes they're hesitant to share their family journey for some reason, but you can just hear it. Could you hear it, Jerry? I could hear it in Evelyn's voice. You must get a lot of Christmas gifts, Evelyn. I could foresee everybody just showering you with presents, because you seem like a really nice person.
Well, thank you very much. I am so blessed to have my family. I have a wonderful family. Also just had 2 new great-grandsons, twins, born into our family, too. So, it's just wonderful. Yes, family is wonderful, but, just have the boys included, and to have them, show the love that they show to our family and the love we can give them. It's a great experience.
Do you have any girls as grandchildren? Any girls?
Oh, yes, I do. I have, we have the 5 boys. We have 4 girls. And so, and now I am going to have 8 great-grandchildren. And so I am extremely blessed, and I love them all. So
wow. Wait, Evelyn, I don't know what you're doing. You're going to have to give us the secret, because your voice does not sound like you're that age that could have great-grandchildren. I'm sorry. You're doing something. It must be in the water in Ohio or something.
Yeah, it is great around Archibald. A wonderful community.
Right. Oh, wow. Well, that's beautiful. God bless you. Your family is, I bet you, pictures. I love pictures. You probably have a lot of those family pictures. That's incredible.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We're blessed. And I'm also blessed to listen to you and to Annunciation Radio. I love that, too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Evelyn. Yeah, what a great gift it is to have our faith on the radio. I always like to say I think Catholic radio is one of the best things that's happened to the church in our lifetime, just because it can go places and do things that print media and video can't do. So, as Debbie pointed out at the start of the show, it's still pledge drive season for a lot of your stations. So please be generous. And it's Giving Tuesday, so think about EWTN. You can go to EWTN.com/donate and give there. Mm-hmm. So
see, Evelyn's family is like the kind of family I'm talking about that I want to be adopted in. That sounds like a fun family.
It does, yeah.
We're up for adoption.
The love, the amount of love that, is in a family like that is just amazing.
I love it.
So.
Yeah. I just volunteered you. I put you up for adoption.
Yeah, thanks.
Your family loves you. You're good. Okay, so where are we going next?
We're going to go to Thomas in New York, listening on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Thomas.
How you doing?
Doing well.
I'm doing good. My daughter Jody, that lives in Phoenix, Arizona. Well, she lives in Youngstown. Was a teacher, and her student that she fell in love with was going into an orphanage because he was too old to go to foster care. So she adopted.
Oh, wow.
And she got a full page in Women's World and a full page in People's Magazine. It went viral.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. So when did that when did her story become public? Was that many years ago or just recently?
No, I think it was like 7 or 8 years ago, because he's 15 now. He's going into college.
I was just gonna ask you, give us an update. How's he doing? So he's going into college.
He had a lot of problems, and she overcame them all. God bless her. And he's a great kid. I love him dearly. If you go online and you look up, Jody Kaminsky, you'll see the Women's World in People's Magazine. And now she's a professor. She's not a teacher anymore. She's a professor.
Is she still in Arizona, Thomas?
Yeah, Phoenix, Youngstown, right outside of Phoenix. Youngstown.
I don't know why when you just said her first and last name, it was familiar. I wonder if because I live in Arizona, so I'm sure we heard about it. It was probably everywhere in Arizona.
It really was viral. God bless. That's what she's doing now. Cat. Got 6 cats that she's nursing back to life, and then she's putting them up for adoption. I love it.
You must be super proud, Thomas, of your daughter and of course, of this grandson of yours as well, I would guess.
Are you kidding? I love them both dearly. I'm so proud of both of them. And God bless her. I'll tell you something right now. She is an amazing child. Amazing.
Wow. Another proud parent and grandparent. I love it. Good job, Thomas. Thank you. And after the show, I'm definitely going to look again at her incredible story, adoption story. Wow, I love that. Thank you, Thomas. Isn't that neat to have your teacher, love you that much that is willing to adopt you? That's pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit unusual in terms of adoption, but still just as beautiful. I mean, it's fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. We have a phone line open there at 833-288-3986 talking about adoption. If you have any adoption story whatsoever, we've heard so many different angles on this today, and it has just been a real edifying conversation so far, and it will continue to be at 833-288-3986. We are going to go to Tracy next in Rochester, New York, listening on the iCatholic Radio app. Hi, Tracy.
Hi there.
Welcome.
I'm another first-time caller.
Great.
And my story is, I'll try to make it as short as I can. It's pretty lengthy. I currently have 2 grown children that are biological, and they're 24 and 21. 17 years ago, I had a miscarriage. And we all that have been through it know how much that rips you apart. We found out after a few years that I would never have any more biological children. So my husband and I, after much prayer, decided to become foster to adopt parents. We were then matched with a sibling group of 4 children, moved them in our home, and realized we got in over our heads and were not prepared to care for the children the way we would want to. After much discernment and prayer, we sent them back to the previous foster home in hopes that they would find the right family we didn't think we were. To this day, I cry when I think about them. I love them dearly. And I did not know at the time that we would have absolutely no communication ever for the rest of our lives with these children, who I love like my own. I don't tell you this for sympathy. I tell you this. Make sure you know what you're getting into, but it is a beautiful, beautiful vocation. I've seen so many people adopt successfully and love these children, as you've heard in this case. I realized after going through this, I was trying to replace the baby that I had lost, who, as we know, is an angel in heaven. Because of what we went through when my children were young, my daughter, who is now 21 and finally starting to date, her and her boyfriend, who will probably marry, want to adopt children as well. So my suffering is not for bad.
Oh.
Hopefully we will have biological and adopted grandchildren someday.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot, Tracy. First of all, thank you for being a first-time caller. We hope you call us again for sure. And thank you for sharing from your heart again. Every caller has done that so beautifully. But it's interesting how you shared about how your daughter is open to adoption, and that's incredible. So there's so many, it's all about life lessons and life experiences and what we learn from it. So many people think not you, Tracy, but in general, we think that the story has to be written or the story has to unfold a certain way in order for it to look like it's, following the proper path, if you will. But every story is different. It's unique with the details. And God always has a way of having just, especially when it's done with great intentions, like your own, Tracy, and beautiful heart. It spreads and it continues. And that's what I'm pulling from your story, Tracy. What was your takeaway, Jerry?
Well, Tracy, I think my takeaway was we could hear that it was a painful, very difficult decision for you. And obviously we know in the life of God and in the life of Christ and our faith, we can offer the pain along with the prayers, and graces can definitely flow through that. So you're still doing a great thing for these 4 siblings. You're still doing that. And you have to believe, even though you said you can't communicate with them, which is perhaps unfortunate, but you have to believe they must be grateful for the time that they were with you and your husband. And as they get older, they're probably a little bit older now, obviously, but they may come to understand that and really hold a very dear, special place in their hearts for you and your husband. So it's what you did was a beautiful thing. And like you said, you got to make sure you know what you're getting into when you do it.
Yeah, I thought that was very, very good words for people who are discerning going into that vocation, Tracy. And also, always remember, you talked about angels. Always remember, you can ask your guardian angel to go to their guardian angels, and always keep that connection. Sound good?
Okay. Sounds good. And I always have to also remind people, like you just said, we have to follow the path that God has for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. You are a wonderful person. We can feel it. You're a great soul. Would you call us again sometime?
Oh, definitely. I listen to you whenever I'm not working.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Very cool. Thanks, Tracy.
Thanks, Tracy. Have a beautiful
call.
day.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Well, we're talking about adoption today, and if you listen to Dr. Ray Guarendi, which is the show that comes on right after us, you know that he and his wife adopted all 10 of their children, mixed races, drug abuse issues, all kinds of challenging things, and they just sound like the happiest people on the face of the earth. Their kids are all kind of, I guess most of them, if not all of them, out of the house by now. But I bring that up because The Doctor Is In is heard every weekday, Monday through Friday at 1 Eastern, right after us here on EWTN Radio. And Dr. Ray Guarendi does take calls and talks about marriage, family, relationships, difficulties, challenges, the good, the bad, and the ugly on The Doctor Is In, Monday through Friday afternoon at 1 Eastern Time, right here on many of these same EWTN affiliates.
And you got to keep a sense of humor, I think, and that's what Dr. Ray does so well.
Amazing.
And I think that's I think that's important. When I was doing a conference with him, he was hilarious. How he just kept that sense of humor constantly, and I think it really and truly it makes the journey that much more joy filled. So let's hear what Joe has to say in Massachusetts on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Joe.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well. Actually, I have the flu, but what can you do, right?
Well, we'll pray for you.
Okay, yeah, Joe, I'll put you in the prayer book, okay?
Okay, cool, because I don't pray for myself.
Okay.
But I will tell you kind of a different story. It's still kind of adoption, but it's not. So about 10 years ago, I noticed that my grandson was not being properly monitored, and he started to do things not go to school. Not his fault, and I couldn't take it anymore. It was 2 years I waited before I did anything, and then once that happened, my beautiful wife, who I've been married to going on 24 years, and I get older, but she gets better. And she said, you got to do something here. So we went to the state, and we asked them if they would have a session in court to make me and my wife guardians of him, which would mean literally removing him, unfortunately, from the family, just plainly because of need. Okay, like if we're not as great people as some of the people that you have on, but certainly we can't allow a child to go through misery. And if you're an adult and you care about people, and especially flesh and blood, then you got to do things. You have to do what you have to do sometimes. And is it hard? Yes. Is it right? It is, you know. And number 3, is it like disturbing to the child? Please allow me to kind of like give you a brief overview of the child now after 10 years. This past Thanksgiving on Thursday, he was sitting at my table because he wanted to be there. And what can you ask for more than that? If that isn't, if that he hugs me and tells me he loves me, and hey, and I, after a period of time, the shock of having your child removed from you may, and in this case it did, shock the person back to normalcy. Took a little while before I trusted it, but eventually I returned him. And let me tell you, without a doubt, I would do it again if I had to. If I had to. I don't want ever to do something like that. But please understand, folks, that when you see it and you do nothing, that's a sin. That's a sin. That's what happens to that child? Child can die. Are you a murderer? No, you're not a murderer. You do what you have to do to save the child. And that's what we did.
Yeah. Well, you stepped in when you saw a need, Joe, and I'm sure it had to be probably a very difficult process that you all went through. But I love how you described your grandson, being with you at Thanksgiving, because he wanted to be there. And the most beautiful thing of all is he hugs you, tells you he loves you. He realizes the great gift that you gave to him. And it sounds like, things kind of, the way you described it, there's more or less a happy ending to all of this is what I was gathering from that. But what do you think, Deb?
Oh, well, yeah, you were talking, Joe, how you and your beautiful wife stepped in. I agree with Jerry. Talking about people that kind of sit back and watch and wait and observe, and then something tragic potentially could happen. You're spot on, Joe. We're in a world like that right now where there are a lot of people that are sitting on the sidelines just watching things happen in all in all ways, in their family and in their community and their parish life. But the problem is they don't have maybe some strong support. I think where you benefited, Joe, is your wife was supportive. That you had a team there. You had somebody who was going to stick with you on this and go through the whole process. That's important. That's why people need to come together and really, when they see a need, kind of partner up and really help the other, help people get through some tough situations. And yours has turned out really well. So way to go, Joe. We're going to pray for many blessings to you, that you recover very fast from the flu. And we've already have prayers. The Take Two family is already on it, Joe. So we got you covered.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate talking to you. And to be honest with you, if you see it and you do nothing, it's on you. God is watching you. Take care of your families. It's Christmas time. During this time, there's a lot of tension. Please, please keep your eyeballs peeled. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Joe. You too.
Thank you, Joe. Those are great words and wise words, and we needed to hear it.
Yeah, little quick social media comment here. Vicky, who is watching the video stream on Facebook, hello to all of you. Vicky says, I love my two adopted children, now 35 and 37, but as an adoptive parent, you have to be strong and dedicated. Both children from high school put us through heck and back. Sometimes they came with psychological issues. For one example, my son got addicted to alcohol, drugs, especially meth. He got arrested for armed bank robbery. So pray, hope, and go to adoration. Vicki, God bless you for being the loving mother to those two adopted children now in their 30s.
Yes, now in their 30s. Okay, so thank you for that, Vicki. Gloria is up next in Texas on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hello, Gloria.
Hey there. Hi. I really enjoy your radio show, and I'm really glad you're talking about this subject. I just want to talk about the fact that I chose life. I chose adoption. I don't like the word I gave up my child or they gave up their child, because you never give them up. They're always in your life. And I just want to say that I'm calling because I'm saying I hope that people who are, if you encounter a young woman or a young man and you know that they have an unplanned pregnancy, a baby on the way, and they are definitely thinking about adoption, I believe you need to be sensitive. You need to pray. And there are things that you do not ask. There are things that you do not do. Don't ask, well, why didn't your parents take the baby? Why couldn't they raise them? How come you chose adoption? Don't you feel bad about giving up your baby? And don't ask any specific details. That's really crass. It's really crass. And don't give any negative stories about, oh, I heard about these people they adopted, and you know what happened to their kids, or I heard about these people they adopted, and that poor kid, they got that kind of a couple, or and you don't ask, what kind of adoption was it? Do you have an open one, or is it closed? I believe it's really important, as one who's gone through this, to be positive. To be positive. And not only that, but yeah, if you see that family coming to church every Sunday or wherever, to be interested in them, even before they give birth, to be interested. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Because I had people who would ignore me. They ignored me if they saw me at a store. They ignored me if they saw me at the church. But then after my baby was born, they wanted the scoop. They wanted to have all. And and like I said, it's a gift both ways.
Gloria, tell me if this is okay and acceptable, because I've always felt this. So many things that you're sharing from your journey, I have always seen from the outside as a life coach when I have clients who have been adopted or their adoptive parents, and I've the same thing. If you notice, I don't ever use give up the child. I say they gift the child to another family, because I agree with you. I think words are very powerful. It can be very emotional. And people, it's hard to turn off your heart, right? It's very hard to turn off your heart. I don't care what anybody says, because if people say to you, well, there are ways you can kind of cover that up or shut that down. I don't believe it. If you have a beating heart, I believe when emotions are touched and you feel connected with another soul, with your child, you know what? It's hard to ever turn that off. So I think the words are powerful that we use in the journey, and I think we have to be very courteous to people as they're going through their walk in life. What do you think, Jer?
I agree. It could be a beautiful, selfless act of love that you did, Gloria. Thank you so much. The most intimate of all human relationships is a mother with a child. And so bless your heart, Gloria. Thank you for joining us on the program. You hear the music there. It is time to wrap it up for today. Tomorrow is our monthly unscripted show. You can talk about anything you want.
And Gloria, if you had more to share with us, you can always email us. Sorry, because you heard the music. It kind of got in there real quickly. Take2@EWTN.com. But we expect full participation tomorrow on Unscripted. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day. St. Joseph, please